Hi y'all, it's Charlene here at the Crafty Art Shack, and today we're gonna make that candy corn wreath. It's not really a wreath because it's not round, but I'm calling it a wreath. Okay, so let's get to the craft desk and get started. Let's go. So what I did is I cut 10 sets of 3 pieces of this orange mesh, and I cut 10 of these. Then I cut 8 sets of just the two of them. Okay, I have 2 pieces here, and these are at 8 inches. All of these that I'm showing you are at 8 inches. And then the next thing I did is I cut 11 each of these, and I cut these at 6 inches. That's the different one. And then I have 3 pieces of white here, and I got one of the snowflake type ones and a piece of mesh in there, and I cut 13 sets of these. I just used up the whole roll, okay? And I cut 13 sets of those. Now what I'm doing for my candy corn piece is we took our witch's hat that's for Halloween, and we cut the end of it off, and then we turned around and bent the end of it to put it back on here, and I just attached it with pipe cleaners and some hot glue, and this is going to stay sturdy on there. So I'm going to show you what I did over here. I took my wire cutters, and right next to this wire right there, I crimped it because I can't get it to break off all the way with my cutters. And then I come right here, I look at where this line would be, and it's going to be like, if I kept going in a straight line, I would imagine it would be right there. So I'm going to crimp that, and then I'll be able to just bend this backwards and it pops off of there, just like that. Okay, now we got to put this piece back in here because we're going to need that when we start attaching everything. So what I did is I took this piece right here and I straightened it out, just like that. And then I laid it up here where my piece is, and I imagined where it would go next, and that would be right about there. So now I'm going to take my pliers and hold it, and I'm just going to bend that down just like that. Okay, so now I can take and put this piece right here and wire it in there, and that will give me the other edge of my candy corn, just like I did over here. Okay, I'm going to finish that, and I'm going to put all these tubes together in little bundles, and when I get done with that, I'll be right back. But I'm going to show you real quick an overview of it. And what I did is I took these little mesh things and let them roll themselves up, and then I just tuck them together, and see how those little tubes roll up on themselves. So I'm letting it do that, and then I'm just taking and grabbing the center of it and putting it all the tops of the tubes, the rounded edge of it facing upwards. And then I'm going to take me a little pipe cleaner that I have cut in half, and I'm going to wrap it around that little tube, those 3 tubes, and then I'm going to twist it until it pulls it tight, and then it's all ready. Then I kind of fluff it out, and then it's all ready to put on my candy corn frame. So this is my little frame. Okay, so I'm going to make all of these in the orange and the white and the light orange, and then we'll be back. Okay, y'all, I've been working on my little candy corn and all my frame and all my little pieces to go in it. Now, what I've done with my candy corn frame is I've taken, and we did this part over here where we added the ends and cut off the other ends. But what I did is I went in with some wire, or you can use these little pipe cleaners, and you can make you extra places to tie on, because in the center of this will be bare, and you won't have any place to tie on in here. So we want to make sure we fill up all of those places. So now I'm going to start with the bottom, okay, right here, and I'm going to take my 3-piece, hold on just a minute, I got to get them separated. I'm going to take my 3-piece orange, and I'm going to start down here at the bottom corner, and I'm going to take that and pull one side of this pipe cleaner on one side of this and the other on the other side, and then I'm going to twist this really tight around that, and then I'm going to take that and wrap it around the edges of my wire there. Now this is the front side and this will be the back side. Okay, you don't want to put one on the front, one on the back. You want to make sure they're all on the same side. So this is the back side. So we're going to take our next one and place it on the front, and you're going to put one side of your twist tie here, and then you're going to put one side on one side of this bar and one on the other side, twist it, and then bring them together, lay them over to the side, and twist it around your frame, and that'll lock it in place. And this is what you should be having right here. Now you'll take and just maneuver these around and fill all that in. So I'm going to work on my orange ones, and then I'll be back when I get ready to put on the next color. Okay, y'all, we've added the orange. Now we're coming back in and we're adding the, I'm just trying to make all of this blend together and make it look like it's supposed to be this way. So anyway, we've gone and added the orange. Now we're adding the yellowish orange, and the next color we're going to add is the white. So let me get that done, and we're adding it the same way we added all these colors, okay? And so you want to make sure everything stays kind of like in straight lines like candy corn does. So we've got all of our little pieces in here, and now we're going to add the white. So let me get that done and I'll be right back. Okay, you guys, it works really good if you take your bundle, hold it by your little stem, and then take your hand and pull all your stuff to the front to where you have just that sticking out. And then you grab that with your hand, like I grab mine with my right hand because I'm right-handed, and then I stick it down here through the wire just like that. And I'm doing this because I think the black showed up better than the orange did. And then you just twist it on there. And then what I like to do is take my little wires and just twist them around that next piece. And then when you get back around here to the front, you just take and fluff your little pieces out just like that. And that's how we're adding all of our little pieces in. So let me finish. Okay, we're here at the craft desk, and what we're going to do is we have this little sign that we're going to paint for our candy corn project, and we are going to leave this side just like it is. We're going to add black along here, and then we're going to paint the front of it. Okay, we took the little wire off of this, and then we took and wrapped it around a little pencil and gave us some curly cues, and we're going to save this for later. Okay, what you see me here is I'm going around and painting all the edges with my black paint and making sure that I don't get it on the front side of that sign, because I don't want to disturb that in case they want to use it at some other time, that other side of the sign. So I'm painting my own custom sign on the back side of this one, and I'm just continuing to go around painting it black. And then you'll see me, I'll get in there and I decide, okay, I don't want it just on the edges. I'm going to go ahead and paint the whole sign black, and that's what I did. Okay, what I'm showing you here is that I'm taking a pencil. I'm going to use the eraser end, and I'm going to start painting all my little dots all the way around my sign. And I'll use this as my border. I'm going one dot on, one dot partial. And when I say partial, it's because I touched the edge of it. And you'll see what I'm talking about where it's not a full circle. And the pencil makes a really good painting tool for this type of technique. So I'm going to go all the way around the border. And when I finish with that, I'll be back. Okay, I just finished my border, and this is what you should have when you get done with that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is start painting my trick or treat, and I'm painting the capital letters for the T, the O, and the R, and the next T. And then after that, I'm going to get a smaller brush and spell out trick or treat, as you see me doing here. And anywhere my letters aren't dark, I'm just touching them up. And then I'm going back and I'm putting my little dots on the end of my letters to make it look and match my little circles that I've already put on. Okay, what I've done is I'm getting my little brush out, my fine brush, and I'm putting white on it, and I'm going around and adding little highlights to all my dots that I have. Then I'm going to clean my brush out, add some orange to the same brush, and add little lines into my trick or treat. And then from there, I will get my toothbrush out, dip it in some white with some water, and do my little splatter all over the top of it. And then I'm going to go back and add my little squiggly lines with that real fine brush and come back and do it one more time. And then after that, I took my Sharpie marker. It doesn't show me doing it here, but I went and took my fine point Sharpie marker and made little black lines in there inside my trick-or-treat. Doodling in there on our sign and countryfied it. Okay, that's what I call it, countryfied. Now we're going to take this and we're going to attach it to our wreath by sliding it in. What I did is I put little pipe cleaners on here, and I've rolled up the ends with my pencil to give it some little squigglies. And then what I did over here on the wreath to make it easier on me is I made a little hole right here, and I'm making one right here where I'm going to pull those little pipe cleaners through. So I made a little hole right there, and I made a little hole right here. Okay, now I'm going to take my little sign and I'm going to poke it through those holes, except for trying to hold this and do it at the same time. Okay, so now I'm pulling it from the back side right now, and I'm getting it to where I want it to be. Okay, so here we are, and we've got our little sign. Now we don't want to pull it too tight because we want it to sit on top of this stuff, just like this. So now that I see where I have it, I'm going to go back here to the back side, and I'm going to take my little pipe cleaner and I'm going to wrap it around on the back side. What I'm doing, hang on just a second and I'll show you. Okay, so what I'm doing is I've got my sign where I want it, and I don't want it pulled real tight. So there's my little wire right here, and I'm going to wrap that black around that, and I'm going to come up here, and I'm going to do the same on this side. Now before I tighten these down, I'm going to check my front side again and make sure that that's exactly where I want my sign. And if I can pull it a little bit tighter, that's what I'm going to do, because we don't want it to sag at this point. Okay. And then we're going to go back and check it one more time. And that's where we want our little sign to be, is just like this. Okay, and we're going to put our little squigglies out here so they show up really cute. Just like this. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the back. And since I've wrapped around this wire and this wire, what I can do is I can take those two wires and attach them to themselves. And you guys, this is a lot harder to do when you're trying to do it and you can't just lay it on the table, because I'm trying to show y'all. Okay, so I'm just twisting that, just twisting motion, those two wires together just like you would a twist tie, until it gets nice and tight. And then I'm going to tuck that down, tuck out when you're busy putting something else on. So this is what the back side of our wreath should look like, and now this is what the front side looks like. So now we're going to add a few little flowers. So what I'm doing right now is I've got my bow maker out, and I'm with my two pencils, and I'm going to stick my other one in here. So my colors that are in my design right now are orange and white and black. So those are the colors that I want to stick with when I'm doing my bow. Okay, so I wanted to get some of my white out because I did have white left over. So what I want to do is I want to do 2 8-inch tubes. So 2 of those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my tube. I've got my tube, and what I want to do is pull my tube like that. When I pull my tube like that, I'm going to tuck that uncurled in, and I should look like this. Now I'm going to take that and pinch it in the center, and I'm going to run it down between my two pencils, just like this. Okay, so now I'm going to do that one more time. With this piece, and there's my little piece, and I'm going to stick it down between my pencils. Now what I'm going to do this time, when I stick it in, is I'm going to set it to one side so it looks like an X. Okay, now I'm going to take, and see how this comes in really handy? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my black ribbon. Now you could sit this on here if you want to, and what I do is I use my block to measure right there. I know that's the longest I want, one of my messy bows. So now I'm going to just keep pulling off as many of these as I think I need. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the ends of them and I'm going to fold them in half. Take your ribbon. Here's how you're going to do it. You're going to take your ribbon and it's flat. Make sure I'm at the right angle for you. Then what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half. Okay? Now you want to cut. You want to cut going away from you, or going, if I'm holding it this way, I'm going to cut up. And when I cut up just like that, then I get what they call dovetails. Can you see that? Dovetails. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our little black bows and we're going to cross them like an X. See that? Now you can staple these two right now if you wanted to, but I'm just going to take and lay them down on my table right here. And the reason why I'm doing that right now is because all of these ribbons are flat. These ribbons right here are not flat, okay? So I'm going to leave those sitting in there. I could put them in there. Now I'm going to take these two and I'm going to lay them on top of this ribbon right here, and I'm going to place them in an X, okay? And then I'm going to take and lay those down in an X across my, lay those down. And now that I have everything in an X, I'm going to come in here with my stapler and I'm going to staple everything all at once, just like that, and staple it. And that's going to make it easier for me when I go to tie these. Now I'm just going to slide that down in there and push it down all the way down. Now I'm going to keep repeating this until I get as much ribbon in this that I want. Now I want one big piece of ribbon and I want some raffia. So let me see if I can find a big piece of ribbon, and I'm going to pull out a piece of this raffia. I'm just going to take and fold it in half, and I'm not going to do anything but cut those little pieces like that, and then I'm going to tie a knot in the center, and I'm going to lay that in there just like it was one of my bows. Okay, take these two little pieces and I'm going to stick them right in there on top of everything. Now I'm going to pull that off of there. I could have left it on there, but to show y'all I need to be able to hold it up here. I'm going to take my pipe cleaner and I'm going to pull it on there, and I'm going to put it on from the top, and then I'm going to reach around here to the back, and I want to make sure that it's pulled really, really tight. And then what I do to make sure I get this real tight is I take and hold this like this, and then I take and put my pliers on and I just twist really tight, just like that. Okay, now when I get to the front, that makes all of these little ribbons and doodads and everything in here that I added to this stick up. And where's my other little black ribbon that was supposed to be over here? Oh, they're both on the same side. Okay, so let me move this one over here. And that just makes everything pop out just like that. Okay, and that's what we're going to put up here by our little trick-or-treat sign. And I think I'm going to put it right down here at the bottom. And I think I want to add, okay, while I'm waiting on the glue to heat up, I just got me a little sunflower, and I'm going to glue that right in the center of that. But I'm not going to do it just yet because I want to go ahead and put this on, and I need to let the hot glue heat up. And I'm going to add that, and I'm just going to part the pieces of my tooling that's already on here, my tooling and ribbon, until I find that center wire, and then I'm going to stuff this in here. And once I get it in there, what I'm doing is I'm just twisting it around on the back side, just like that. And that is my little trick-or-treat sign. And I'm just adjusting everything with my little candy corn. And now all I got to do is just put my little flower in there. And I've got my little curlicue piece here. I'm going to take and glue this to the back of this. And the flower kind of gets lost, but it's okay because when you're up close, you'll see it. And from a distance, it'll still look like a piece of candy corn. And that's the design we were going for. One more little bow. I want some tails to hang off of here, so I think I'm going to find me some ribbon and make those little tails stick down there. What I did is I cut one of each of the ribbons, and I found this white ribbon here, and I cut one of each one of the ribbons at 20 inches long, and then I stapled them together in the center. Now what I'm going to do is bunch this up where it looks like this, okay, in the center. Can y'all see that? And then I'm going to take one of my little orange pipe cleaners, and I'm going to go over the top of that and around to the back, hold it, and twist real tight, okay? And you should be going right where that staple is. And then when you turn it over to the other side, you get these little, see how your bow wants to poof up? That's what you want. So now what we're going to do, so now what I want to do is I want it to make it look like it's coming off of my bow here. So I'm going to have to go in here and find that centerpiece. And what I'm doing is I'm tucking my two little tails right here, these two little tails, right up to that centerpiece there, and coming through on the back side. That way I can make sure I have it attached right where I want it to be. And what I'm doing is I'm pulling up. I got one little tail that didn't want to come up. Okay, so now I've got it attached, and you can see I can pull it and adjust it where I want, and that's where I want it. So what I'm doing back here now is I'm going to take those two wires and I'm going to twist them really tight. I'm going to twist them really tight on the back right here, and I can still pull it up or down. See how I can pull it up or down? Up, down. So I'm going to leave it up, and then I'm going to twist it over that top wire to ensure that it doesn't slide back down. So what I'm doing is I'm twisting over this wire right here because I don't want that to slide back down. And then I'm going around that center post with the end of it and getting everything tucked in there. And this is what we should have now. And what I'm doing is I'm just fluffing it out to get the bow to be on one side. Now this end, this side is tucked under there, and I want it to come up and be seen. So what I'm doing is I'm adjusting it and then pulling all of those little colors up so that they can be seen. Now there is our finished little candy corn wreath. Isn't that just adorable? This is it for this episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We hope you like and subscribe and give us a thumbs up. And we'll see you on the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. We'll see you later. Bye. Hang on just a second, I gotta get this off of here. It's sticking to everything. Okay. Does not have everything attached to this. Okay. Halloween for the trick-or-treaters and for the fall. And we hope you like and subscribe, and that didn't go the way I wanted it to. like, and subscribe, and give us a big thumbs up, and we'll see you later. Bye.